my life came down when I had to make a change. You know, the things just weren't right. I looked around for someone else to blame. I searched and I searched and I reached down inside. And I knew when I found there's a light I can't hide. I can be free. I can be free. I can rise above. I can be free. I can be free. I will rise above when you're all alone. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum coming to you live from KSCO Radio. And really happy to be here today. It was really nice sitting in with Scott Numo and listening, to what their goal is to help this community and help the businesses in the community, which is fantastic because you know what? We are an amazing local group. And as my kids like to say, from the redwoods to the sea. And we got the mountain, separating us from the rest of the world. And it's a pretty unique place. We're very lucky to be here. And, I've been here for most of my life. And Seacliff Beach is my home. So one thing I think just with everything going on today and in the world, I wanted to take a minute and just talk about one of the vitamins that we use in our office. And I've talked about it many times before, but I think it's very appropriate that we all take a heavy dose of this right now. And no matter who you are or where you are, this is something that we all need. It's called vitamin G. If you haven't heard of vitamin G, it's 100% pure gratitude. Okay, so what is gratitude? Gratitude is being grateful for, something. There's got to be somebody that you're grateful for. And, I know that I practice this with my patients, I practice it with my staff, with my family, for those that I know. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I forget. Even when you go and get services or place that may not be what you would expect, your first knee-jerk reaction might be to, shun them or be rude or what have you. And, it's kind of funny. Sometimes you never know what is going on in that person's life that day. You just take it for face value, or I take it for face value that what's going on with them is that they don't like their job. They don't want to be here. And, they don't like you. And, I'll give you an example. One of my staff members, she's been with us for a while and very, very nice person. And, but she just had a death of someone in her family on this last week. And I'm very, very sorry for that for her. And, we asked her, do you want to take the rest of the day off? She goes, no, I'm going to continue to do my job today. I just need a moment. And and she actually is pretty amazing. She came back and she gave it her all, and you would have never known. But sometimes that kind of stuff happens to people. It doesn't have to be that extreme. It could be anything, a bill that you can't pay. It could be a friend of yours that, you have is estranged for one reason or another. It could be that you had an accident. But the more that we can appreciate each other, even if we're on the other sides of the fence, there is no room for unrest. There is no room for, communication really is the key. It's a universal solvent. So if you think about that, the universal solvent is the ability to see the other person's point of view, whether you agree with it or not, but the ability to actually look at the other person's point of view and go, maybe if I was in their shoes, I might see why they feel that way. And I may feel that way myself, you know, if I were in their shoes. So is there something that I need to be aware of? Or is there something that they need to be aware of? Or do we just walk away and go, we got differences of opinions and that's the way it is? But the one thing that when you look at gratitude, and I wrote this whole thing on gratitude, you can get a bottle of gratitude in my office, a bottle of vitamin G, 100% pure gratitude. And sidestepping a moment, I came out with these bottles in November of last year because of a dear friend of mine, Ben Azadi, with the keto camp, and the Dr. Pompa group. We all get together, we do masterminds, we basically have fun together. But he started talking about, gratitude, vitamin G. And, I talked to him about it. I go, I love this idea. Do you mind if I write up something about it? And he said, no, please do. We need to share this as much as we can. And this should be an epidemic or a pandemic, gratitude, So anyway, so I got a call from a teacher before summer occurred. And she was taught at a high school, local high school. And she said, one of my students brought me a bottle of vitamin G and I love it. I need 50 for all my teachers. Well, at that point, I was pretty much out of the first 500 I made. And I said, okay, I'll get you some. And, then time passed and I got busy and I forgot. She called again and said, do you have those bottles of gratitude in yet? And I go, I'll have them by Monday. So I talked to Mariah, my amazing staff, one of them, and said, please reorder the bottles. I went to Pleasure Point Design, who does the artwork for me right here in Portola, and I asked them, it's actually Pleasure Point Multimedia now. And they did the paper, they got the everything ordered, and we pumped I ordered another 500 bottles, blank bottles, and we got those 50 to that teacher, and she came in and got them and was very grateful. Grateful, what do you know? Gratitude. So this is why she liked it. I got to put on my glasses. Some days my eyes are better than others. So the label says vitamin G, 100% pure gratitude. And then underneath that, it says, don't keep out of the reach of children. How many times do vitamins or medications that you see say, keep out of reach of children? This is poison, man. It will kill them if you, get them to have some of this stuff. Well, gratitude is not that way. Gratitude, you can't get enough of it. And so don't keep out of reach of children. And then there's directions, and it says, hold the bottle in your hand every morning and think of 10 things you're grateful for. If everybody in our country thought of 10 things that they were grateful for every morning, I think that we'd be in a lot better place. If they thought of one thing they're grateful for, if you wake up and you turn on the media and you turn on your phone and you look at whatever's being spewed out there, there's all kinds of good stuff and bad stuff, all kinds of opinions all over the place. And if you wake up with that as your medicine, I'm telling you, your day's going to be filled with the wrong chemicals going on in your brain. We know, and if you actually pick up my book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, that was the bestseller, the day one on Amazon, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, the second edition, there's a whole bunch of QR codes on there and one of them is Dr. Dan Pompa and I talking about gratitude. And you should watch this video. It's about 18 minutes long. And Dr. Pompa, who's a brilliant clinician, he's helping thousands and thousands of people, and he's got the fastest growing natural health care organization growing on the planet right now. He's just changing lives right and left. He's a good friend of mine. I work with him and several other doctors, all the time. We meet weekly to talk about advances in natural health, and it's not alternative health. You might call it alternative healthcare. No, it's natural health. The alternative healthcare is really what the medications are doing. They're not allowing your body to heal itself like it should. In my book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, which you can get on Amazon, and please do. You can get the paperback. It's $14.99 right now still, and the electronic version, the ebook, is $7.99 or something, $6.99. That's going to be that way till the end of this month, and I'm going to have to raise it because the powers that be. But the reason it's a second edition is because there's so much more information coming out about this. And this is post-COVID too. The first book was pre-COVID. So we know so much more about how to handle some of the problems. And just get online and look at that stuff yourself. But, you know, gratitude is probably the best medicine. And you look at any of the greats like Franklin Roosevelt, not Franklin Roosevelt, Benjamin Franklin, sorry about that. Benjamin Franklin talks about, you know, food is our medicine. And these are even Hippocrates talked about food as our medicine. Well, if our food is toxic and poisoned and sprayed with a peel now, which is toxic, we're not going to get very healthy. So as I realize I am digressing, I'm going to, for those of you on Facebook or watching this later, on the back, I do have these bookmarks on gratitude in my office, and there's 5 different QR codes on the back. And if you're watching, you can look at these and you can click on them. One is about vitamin G, and it's Dr. Dan Pompa and I talking about vitamin G. The second one is about McCollum Chiropractic, so you can find out about our office, find out what we do, what we're about. You see a lot of success stories on there, and meet the people. The third one is on peripheral neuropathy. It's a video of me and Dr. Dan McClellan talking about what peripheral neuropathy is and what we can do to turn it around. And we are making amazing, amazing strides in helping people get their life back when they've been basically given medication to cover up the symptoms with no hope of reversing the problem. And we're reversing peripheral neuropathy all the time. It's amazing. We know. You just look, you can see, do peripheral nerves regrow? And the answer you'll look up, find on the internet is yes. So why does the medical profession say peripheral neuropathy or peripheral nerves, you have to live with it, there's no cure? Look, we know that the peripheral nerves will grow a millimeter a day if you do enough of the right stuff. Faster than the wrong stuff can destroy you. So there's 2 steps to this. And by the way, we're having a workshop this Wednesday at my office that you're welcome to come to. It's free, 12:15 at my office in Capitola, next to FedEx there. You need to make a reservation because we will provide some lunch. 12:15 to about 1:15, and we will be going over what peripheral neuropathy is, what the latest information is about it, how to turn it around, and we'll be going over the successes we have. And there's no charge for it, but why would you want to live with this debilitating disease, peripheral neuropathy, if there was a chance to get it turned around? What is that worth? You know, I mean, most of the people that are suffering from peripheral neuropathy, most of them are in their later years. They've worked hard. They've put away for, you know, their retirement. Maybe they're retired, maybe they're not. They have these dreams and grandiose expectations of, I got 2 years left, 1 year left, then I get to go trance around the world. But then their feet don't work. They can't feel where they're putting them. They have numbness, tingling, feel like they have a tight band around it, wads of socks in their feet. They don't know if their foot's on the gas pedal or the brake. They don't want to tell their kids because they're afraid they'll take their license away and lose their freedom. This is really happening way more than you know, and we can do something about it. And we've got one gentleman, I'll just say quickly on that, they bought a motorhome on his retirement, and then he was afraid to drive it because he couldn't feel his hands and feet. He'd worked his whole life to be able to travel around with his wife of many years and enjoy the golden years. Well, the golden years were not so golden. He found our office. We did the peripheral neuropathy program. He chose to go for the whole program and get it done as quick as possible. The sum is greater than the parts. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And within 3 months, he had almost 100% function back. And they're on vacation right now. And that's pretty amazing. And this is routine. But anyway, you can go to the third thing here, peripheral neuropathy, and you can click on that QR code, and you can watch Dr. Dan McClellan, who actually developed this program through help of MIT doctors and different things like that, and find out about it. The fourth one is fix the cell to get well. Now, fix the cell to get well is really Dr. Dan Pompa's what he discovered was how to or what's causing even peripheral neuropathy, what's causing disease, what's causing chronic disease. And he had his own life almost stripped away from him because of the toxins he had. And so here in my book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, on page 97, I have a graph or a drawing that says toxins cause chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation causes chronic disease. And this is known throughout the industry. There's no doubt that you put toxins in the body, it's going to cause dis-ease that turns into disease if it's not taken care of. So Dr. Pompa's main statement is fix the cell to get well. This is chapter 5 on page 129, fix the cell to get well. You can learn about what the cell does. We have 75 trillion cells in our body, each cell doing 60 million things a minute, all controlled by the brain. Unbelievable. The cells get damaged. Cells are life. Every cell is its own organism. Every cell is its own live organism. They group together and make systems, organs, and to keep us alive. As long as they're healthy, you're healthy. When your cells start to die, either grossly throughout the body, which is like an autoimmune disease, where your body's eating itself or trying to destroy itself, or specifically like cancer in a certain region of the body, then those they're called zombie cells or freak cells are going to try to destroy your health by destroying an organ in your body. Okay, so Turn Back Your Biological Clock, the book, that's why it got bestseller, because people are really interested in what they can do to get healthy. And speaking of how the body heals, there's a chapter in here that embraces something called autophagy. Autophagy is how the body breaks down the bad cells. We talk about the autonomic nervous system, how your body normally functions correctly. Then there's a chapter on ketones and versus glucose. What fuel does your body use? And how do you make sure that your body functions correctly? Basically, Dr. Dan Pompa has the 5 R's, he calls it. Remove the toxic stress, the source of the toxic stress. Repair and regenerate the cell wall. Restore cellular energy. Reduce inflammation, and reestablish energy to the mitochondria. Those are the 5 things that you will learn about in this book. And not only that, there's a 7-week course that you can take online by me with Dr. Pompa's program called the Cellular Regenerative Diet, the Cellular Healing Diet. And, it's like right now we have so much stuff going against us in this world. Why not get yourself healthy? You can do everything you can for yourself. You can't do anything. You can't do a lot to change what's going on today and tomorrow. Maybe over several, of course, we have our elections and everything one way or another. Wherever you are on that, your beliefs are that you're going to get what you need and want. And the last one on here is the Cellular Healing Diet, and talks about the 7-week program. So you can learn how to get your body to detox, how to take a look at the right foods to eat and the wrong foods to eat, and the ramifications of either. So I would love for you to buy the book. Again, it's already got #1 bestseller, but it is for sale on Amazon. And it would be really awesome for you to get it. And if you do like it, do a positive review. If you don't like it, don't do any reviews. No, do what you want. I'm just kidding. But it would be great, great for you to get on this book and read it, because it can change your life. It's basically not only 35 years of me being in practice in this book, but my whole journey from breaking my back when I was 12, and the medications and drugs, the addictive street drugs that I got into to try to handle my pain, and then also to try to basically drop out of society because I was a dyslexic and so over medicated from a broken back that went undiagnosed. I was self-medicating because I listened to Jefferson Airplane, and Grace Slick always said, "Go ask Alice," because the pills that the white rabbit would give me were a lot better than the ones my mom gave me, and I fell for it. And it got me through a time, but I almost died in the event. I was 28 when I learned to read, and it was pretty crazy. But this book is a culmination of, it's not a biography, but it's a culmination of how I came to learn how to be where to look to find the right answers so that I could help myself, but then help others. And I've dedicated my life as a chiropractor and nutritionist for the last 35 years to do that. We have a great office, an amazing staff, and we're there to help you as much as we can. So, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the two guys that carried me into the chiropractic office when I was flat on my back for 3 weeks. I couldn't move. I couldn't even go to the bathroom. Even if I could get there, I couldn't go because my bowels are so messed up. And these guys put me in my own pickup truck on a couch they took out of my own living room and drove me across town to Santa Cruz to Dr. York's office. They carried me in, held me up to get an x-ray, and Dr. York said, "When did you break your back?" You've heard the story. From that moment on, I realized that what I had been doing in Western medicine was never going to help me with this condition other than medicate it. My mother also was diagnosed with ovarian cancer when I was 15. My brother had ended his own life when he was 16 and I was 9. My mom basically ate herself away. But when we went in to see the doctors that we knew, I won't mention his name, he's long gone, but we had dinner at his house, played with his kids, and my mother and I were sitting in his office, and I was thinking, oh, go ahead and fix him, fix mom, doc, I know you can. And at that young age, I saw this glazed look at his eyes, not focused, and looking past me and my mother into nothing. And I had this weird feeling like they can't help her. And of course, she died a few years later. So, this is, I guess I can be grateful for all of that at this point in my life because it got me to where I am today. And, the one thing that I really recommend you take a look at is close your eyes for a minute, unless you're driving. Don't do this if you're driving. Close your eyes. And then in a second, I'm going to tell you to open them, but keep them closed for a minute. Okay, open your eyes. It's a brand new day. Welcome to today. Nothing in the past really matters that much because today you can make anything happen that you want to have happen. So welcome to today, and let's create your tomorrows. And gratitude, I'm going to read through some of this. Hold the bottle in your hand every morning and think of 10 things you're grateful for. Direction number 2, express gratitude to the first 10 people you see. Now, when I wrote these 2 lines, I think I was overzealous because sometimes I have a hard time finding one thing I'm grateful for. And if you haven't done this and worked on this, you probably do as well. So just be as grateful as you can be. Some of them never change. I'm grateful for my mother. I'm grateful for my father, my sister, who basically came down to Santa Cruz and lived here to help me get off the drugs that were killing me, the street drugs that were killing me. And she came down, changed her whole life to come down and be around and be a positive influence on me. And she did. And she's basically the one that sent me in the right direction so that I could actually learn to read, because she said one morning, now we were up at Lake Almanor with my dad. We used to go up there. He worked at PG&E. And then after my mother died, Sudi, my sister, my dad and I had never been on a vacation together since, but we decided to go. And I was working on my sister's back. I was probably in my mid-20s, and I was rubbing her back, and she goes, gosh, you're so good at finding those parts of your spine of pain and those muscles that are tight. And I go, yeah, I just kind of seem to have a knack for it. She goes, you know what? It's too bad that you never went on to be a chiropractor. And in an instant, I went, you know what? You're right. How do I do it? I'd tried twice before to go to Cabrillo College, and I dropped out because I couldn't read and I couldn't comprehend what was written on a page until actually there was a class with a guy named Dixon, chemistry class. And we would take our tests and pass them to around. Well, first he'd correct them, then pass them out and have the person next to you look at your test. And Dr. Dixon said, you guys did a lousy job. In fact, one of you were so bad, he might even said stupid, that you spelled acid, A-S-I-D. And then I looked at Janie, the girl that I tried to sit next to every day because I had a crush on her. And there's my test spelled A-S-I-D. Well, that was the last day of chemistry for me that time around. And so it was a struggle, embarrassing. There was a time in third grade where we had circle time where we read aloud. And this kid named John was 100% blind. And he was right before me. And we were reading See Spot Run. And John read beautifully with his fingers on Braille. I was the next one to read, and I could not read a thing. I could not comprehend the words because of something that had happened in first grade when I was maybe wrongly diagnosed with dyslexia, but diagnosed with dyslexia. So all of that stuff had been following me forward through the years of, basically trying to medicate myself and being a drug addict, basically, alcohol, drugs, figured that I might as well just do something that didn't require my brain too much. And so that all happened, and that all went forward until my sister moved down and tried to help me out. Then one night, I was 27 years old, and I'd had everything that I thought I ever wanted, all of the drugs sitting in front of me, alcohol, marijuana, all the musical instruments I ever would want. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was thinking, wow, this is cool. And then my heart, I felt like it was I was having a heart attack. And I remember how scared I was. And I went to the cliff, which is a block away in Sea Cliff, and I sat there and I caught my wind, and I realized that I was not having a heart attack, but it scared the hell out of me enough to where I quit that day. There were some other factors going on too, but I stopped that day, and I don't know how I did it. It was divine intervention or just the will to live. And my mother had a lot to do with that, even though she'd been gone for years. My family had a lot to do with it because I have strong family ties, going back to 1850 when my family got to California. That's why my 4 historical books, soon to be 5, have to do with my family history, which are all fun. They're pretty fun books. You can find them on Amazon too, next to Turn Back Your Biological Clock. But you should buy that book and give it to somebody that you know who needs hope and help. All right, now the third part of the directions on the vitamin G bottle is repeat often. Okay, so number 1, every morning, think of 10 things you're grateful for. 2, spread this with others. And 3, repeat often. So, and I'm going to give another commercial towards our peripheral neuropathy workshop this Wednesday. If you haven't been to one, and you have some problems, or your family members that do, maybe they won't make it, they're giving up hope, you should come. Call my office, 831-459-9990, 459-9990, and just say, I want to come. And they're going to say, what type of lunch, vegetarian, what have you. And we'll get that up for you. We can take about 15 people. I don't like to try to do more than that because it just gets too crowded. And so I would love for you to make that happen. Come to the workshop, get somebody that needs to find out if they can get their life back, needs to have hope. I had hope back there when I was 28. I'm now 68. So what was that, 40 years ago? Wow, that was a long time ago. But it's time, it could be time for you to look around what's going on in the world and go, what chance do I have but to get myself healthy? The healthier you are, the more you can enjoy your life. It's not over. You can turn it around. We did that thing where I had you close your eyes, open your eyes. It's a brand new day. Really cool process I learned from a guy named L. Ron Hubbard. But, I love to do that. It's a brand new day. Now, nutritional value. Vitamin G may reduce brain fog, increase hormone optimization, vitamin G, gratitude, balance the autonomic nervous system by upregulating the parasympathetic response, reducing oxidative stress and cellular inflammation, thus improving cellular function, increasing mental clarity, focus, and productivity, optimize mitochondrial energy, increase the body's production of serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, increase happiness, improve your sleep, and improve your general likability. Would you like your general likability improved? Start taking some doses of vitamin G. Do you know somebody else that should suffer from improved likability? Get them a bottle of vitamin G. Come by, they're free. Just say, I'd like, however many you want. I gave that lady 50. And, I'm more than happy to pass them out because I think the world's going to be a better place if more people can embrace gratitude and, really kind of stay up in that zone of gratitude and realize that everybody has bad days. And maybe you're catching a person on a bad day or a bad month or year, but, if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to you. Increase likability. Vitamin G has been shown to unleash your own innate intelligence. Wow. Your own innate intelligence. How would gratitude release your own innate intelligence? Well, number one, you stop focusing on all the negative things that have been going on in your life or other people have done to you or you've done to other people, or all of the things that went wrong, all the opportunities that you missed, all of the somebody somewhere done me wrong things or somebody I done wrong somewhere. It's a brand new day. Just decide, wow, I'm going to be grateful that I'm on the planet today. We live in Santa Cruz, for crying out loud. Be grateful for that. I wish I could get this message out to the world. Vitamin G has been shown to unleash your own innate intelligence, allowing the greatest physician who ever lived, to work its miracles so your body can heal. So the greatest physician who ever lives right inside of you. It's your innate intelligence. And that is going to, you start to increase the serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin in your body by expressing gratitude regularly on a daily basis. Your body's going to get healthier. There's just no two ways about it. If it will downregulate inflammation, because the things that cause inflammation is stress and toxins. So I'll talk about toxins in a minute, but first and foremost, talking about stress. Stress or anger. Anger is something that really inflames the liver. We know any Chinese medicine people will tell you that anger is a liver associated condition. When your liver's inflamed, it cannot clean your blood. So you have toxic blood going back around. Your liver's main job is to filter your blood. It has over 500 things we know that it does. But filtering the toxins out of your blood is probably the most important. So when people are constantly in anger, mad about something, they're going to have inflammation. Arthritis is one of the main things that comes from this kind of chronic inflammation in the body. So, you could take all the arthritis medicine. You could have taken Vioxx, and that had a history of killing 10,000 people or more, back in the day. So medications that are covering up symptoms but not handling the cause are 99% of the time detrimental to your health. We spend $4.3 trillion on healthcare in this country, 4.3 trillion a year. And 70 to 90%, depending on what articles you read, are to cover up or to mitigate symptoms. gabapentin is a perfect one. That's what people are given for peripheral neuropathy. Gabapentin or Lyrica or Cymbalta, all those things, they don't fix anything. They just kind of make you dumb to it, you know? So you can kind of keep fumbling forward in life, not knowing that you're stubbing your toe. Is that a solution? I don't think so, especially since there is an answer. Now, you know, the problem is Western medicine doesn't embrace this. They don't, whether they believe it can happen or know that it can happen, they don't talk about it. They just say there's no hope. So if you want to find out about peripheral neuropathy, come to my workshop this Wednesday. We do them periodically. And if we can help you, we'll let you know what the chances are. You'll get the education or understanding of what peripheral neuropathy is, how it comes about. There's many sources. The number one source, of course, is diabetes, but chemical toxicity, you know, chronic life of cigarettes, alcohol, environmental toxins like glyphosate and the forever chemicals and the plethora of chemicals that we have in our body. We get through the water, food, air, clothes, and internal environment that we are surrounded by all the time. So now these bodies start to break down when there's too much toxin. In my book, by the way, there is a QR code that will take you right to Dr. Bruce Lipton's video on the cell. And he says that the cell is the most intelligent part of the human body, the cell wall. The cell wall is the most amazing brain in the human body, all 75 trillion of them, because the cell wall surrounds the internal part of the cell, and it is exposed to everything that gets splashed up against it from outside the cell in the body. When you get chemical toxicity, when you get drugs, when you have pollutants, all these other type of things, heavy metals, they get on the cell wall and they plug it. And then this internal part of the cell can't function well. So it gets sick. Oftentimes it tries to fight itself and it will kill itself. And it will mutate. And that's why we get these genetic diseases turning on, because the cell walls mutate by the toxins that can't get out of the cells, or the lack of nutrients that can get into the cells because the cell wall's so messed up. So Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's in here, his video, which you should watch. It's amazing. He talks about this and he shows you an example of, you take cells, healthy cells, and you put them in a petri dish with toxins. The cells immediately start to die, and you see the cells shrivel up. You see the cell walls shrivel up. And then he says, you take those same cells and put them into a healthy environment and the cells start to grow. And he does that, and you see them start to flourish and prosper. So this book is filled up with a lot of stuff, not just my words, but the factual stuff from other experts out in the field that I've tried to put all in one spot. Turn back your biological clock. Get on Amazon and buy it. I haven't really promoted my books, my fun books, you know, the historical fiction one. They'd be great for you to read, and I would love that. So if you have any interest, in fact, I just redid Venture's a Little Big Jim. So we edited out some of the grammatical errors that I was told by many readers that I had. So it should be less distracting. It's amazing how many times you have to edit a book before you get it right. I mean, this book's been edited by professionals at least 4 times now. But at any rate, don't worry about those. Get this book, read it, do the 7-week course. There's a coupon in here to get a discount off the course, but that 7-week course will change your life. You know, and if you have any trouble, contact our office and we'll help you through it. So just a couple more things to talk about vitamin G, and you should come by and get bookmarks or the bottles of vitamin G. And it says side effects, all of the above. So the side effects of taking vitamin G, or 100% gratitude, is only good. You know, it's only going to help you. There's no downside to gratitude, 0, zip. So, you know, get a dose of it and take it often. And here are the supplemental facts. Sugar in this particular supplement, 0. Fat, 0. Protein, 0. Calories, 0. Gratitude, 100%. It also has I guess you call it a black box label warning on it that says that this particular supplement, vitamin G, is 100% BPA free. It's naturally sourced, environmentally sustainable. It has been animal tested. We've tried Gratitude on humans, on animals, and no side effects except for a better life. So it has been animal tested. We know that. And you can look up the effects of Gratitude anywhere on the internet, and you're going to find out that this is 100% valid. Gluten-free, and a lot of people are allergic to gluten. So we made sure that our Gratitude is gluten-free. It's non-GMO. There is no GMO products in this vitamin G. It's 100% organic. It's shade grown. So there's no mold like, the coffee that's not shade grown. It's harvested by hand. There's no forever chemicals in it. And what's the last thing to say? Oh, packaged with love. That sounds like pretty good ingredients to me. So come get your bottle of vitamin G. Come to the workshop. If you come to the peripheral neuropathy workshop on Wednesday, 12:15 to 1:15, lunch is provided. You have to call and preserve your seat. And because we can only fit so many people in there. But you will get a bottle of vitamin G by showing up. Okay. And then here's a couple more things you should know. It says, this has been formulated by Benazati. And my hat is off to Benazati from Keto Camp. He's a major opinion leader in the world of health and a great friend of mine. Spend time with him many times a year. And then, one of the biggest problems with supplements, and there's no way to tell how pure they are, whether they have heavy metals or molds or they're contaminated. And in my book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, I talk about the testing that Dr. Pompa has done, third party, has nothing to do with him, before he puts anything in these supplements. And the last part of the book talks about how do you cellular detoxify your body? How do you get the heavy metals out? How do you increase hormonal function? How do you get the mitochondria producing the energy you want? How do you get rid of brain fog? All this stuff is toxic related. So this particular vitamin G has been purity tested by Dr. Dan Pompa. So he stands by the purity of this substance. And then there is a warning here, and it's very important that you understand this warning. Right at the bottom, it says that this product has not been approved by the FDA. It's not been approved by the CDC. So vitamin G, 100% Gratitude, has not been approved by the NIH. It's not been approved by the FBI, the CIA, or the World Health Organization. So if you want something approved by them, don't come get any vitamin G from me, because they haven't seen it. They probably wouldn't approve it even if they knew it existed. So, wow, I just really appreciate having a voice here. And I know that Scott and Nemo, they really do their job to try to increase the function of talk radio into our community. And, Michael Zwirling has given them a lot of leeway. Dave Michaels, holding down the fort here. He's, support him, support Longevity products. They're amazing. You can come get them from him. But, this is a community. We are a local community, and we need to support each other, because there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world, no matter what side of the spectrum you like to be on. The best thing we can do as a community is stand strong. I was reminded by the earlier talk show, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the contractor that was here, but we were talking about the earthquake of 1989. And a funny thing is, one of a new patient came into my office. And as it turned out, I hadn't seen her in many years, I guess about 35, 36 years. She was my neighbor 2 doors down from my house in Seacliff the day of the earthquake. And we, like everybody there, I was, of course, watching the Giant A's game at a friend's house in Los Gatos, and everything fell on the floor, including the TV. The only thing that remained was my mocha on her white coffee. That stain's probably still there today. Everything else was repairable. But, when that happened, I was young. I was like probably, I don't know, in my early 30s, actually. But I had my Coleman stove and my can of white gas, and everybody's gas was turned off. There was no power. We still did have water. But what I did is I got my Coleman stove out, put all of the tables I had out on my front lawn, and every neighbor that lived in the area would bring their food to my outdoor kitchen, and I would cook for the neighbors. And we did that for 3 or 4 days till power was restored. And it was so fun because, stuff's unthawing in the refrigerator. We had barbecue and we had my stove. And this patient came in the other day and she goes, I remember when you made pancakes for us the day of the earthquake. And it just reminded me how that community came together. We came together so strongly. We came together as a group for, however long it took for that period of time to return. So national disasters, and, they happen, and world disasters happen. Natural events like the earthquake. But at the end of the day, we only have ourselves to help us. No huge organization necessarily will help us, and I wouldn't put my faith in them. I put my faith in myself and my health, my ability to be healthy, my understanding of communication, how it's a universal solvent, and how we use that communication to solve problems, to rectify differences, and or at least understand the boundaries of where we are. And be grateful. I've got my vitamin G cards here. Come by and get them, and practice it or not. But maybe you're doing great and somebody else needs a bottle of vitamin G. I would love to make a difference. Like we were talking on the previous show, one person at a time. If one person out there comes to get a bottle of vitamin G next week, if one person out there comes to our peripheral neuropathy workshop and regains their ability of freedom, then my job is, I'm not going to say it's done because it's not, but then I feel like it was worth me coming here for an hour on my Saturday. I could be doing some other things, but I like to be here and I like to be on the air. As you all know, if you've ever met me, I do have a face for radio. So I appreciate all of you listening. So many people come up to me in the community and say, hey, I love your show. Hundreds of people come into my office as patients from the show. They might have been listening to me for 5-6 years. And finally, they felt like, I now have a problem that needs to be addressed. This looks like a sane, safe way to address it. I never charge for consultations, so you can always set up a time to come in and talk to me. If you are a patient that I think I can help, I'll let you know. I really, really do not want people out there saying, I went to Dr. McCollum and he didn't help me. So if I don't think I can help you, I'm going to tell you right off the bat. Of course, there's a lot of factors involved, but if it walks like a horse and talks like a horse, it's probably a horse. If it's something going on with the body, the nervous system, your systems in your body, or the toxins that you're involved with, that chemical or physical stuff, then, if I think I can help you, we can talk about how high is high. Now, the third part of that is, of course, the mental and spiritual part. That's not my realm, other than giving you vitamin G. So vitamin G alone is probably the best medicine you can have, because you've all heard of those people that have been deathly ill and there was a spontaneous remission it wasn't because they were, I can pretty much guarantee those spontaneous remissions don't occur from no faith. no faith in the body's ability. Doesn't have to be faith in whatever your religious superhuman may be, or whoever the greater spiritual source might be. It could be faith in your body's ability to heal. It could be necessity level. You know, a lot of us spend a lot of our life helping other people, family members. You know, it's like when you take a look at a mother whose kid is under a car, she can pick that car up with one hand to pull the kid out. That's necessity level. So when your necessity level is high enough, you will overcome almost anything or die trying. And the necessity level is one thing that is maybe not, we're lucky in the United States because ever since World War II, we've been relatively comfortable. We might have our differences, but we've been in the United States, greatest country in the world. We can eat watermelon 365 days a year because we get it from everywhere. You know, we have, unfortunately, the Food and Drug Administration has been in treason since the early 60s. And you take a look at, you know, I was just watching something from John F. Kennedy, where I remember he put into the schools, every kid had to pass a fitness test. We had to run so far, we had to do pull-ups and push-ups and sit-ups. And only about 6% of the kids were overweight at that time. Now at least 50% are. There's nobody paying attention to how to get healthy in the first place. It's all based on how do we mitigate the disease that our lifestyle has caused us. And that is really criminal, if you ask me, especially because we do have the understanding of what it takes to get a body healthy. We were healthier in the 70s than we are now. We may live longer, but who knows? You don't even know that you're living and you're suffering. You've got peripheral neuropathy. You've got diabetes. 60% of us are diabetic or pre-diabetic. 30 million people have thyroid conditions, all because of a body that's not functioning correctly. My book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, will answer a lot of questions for you. And not only is it a read, it's practical. There's practical things you can do each step of the way. You can take a course that goes along with the book. It's a 7-week course in the book that you can walk through it. So buy the book and check it out. What do you have to lose? And if you like it, give me a positive review on Amazon, because maybe somebody somewhere will read it and get help. And I would appreciate that. So we're going to go out in a couple minutes here with Steve Funderburg's song, You Can Be Free. I've changed it to We Can Be Free, but you got to do something about it. You got to get off your duff and try to make a change. And by doing so, you never know what the future may bring. Today's a brand new day. Forget about yesterday. You can't change it. Today's a brand new day. Make your tomorrows, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. We Steve Funderburg. Get on Steve Funderburg's side. He's got a lot of songs on there. Funderburg. Funderburg. See y'all next week.